Hello and welcome to Good Games Well Played, episode 240. I'm Clint, aka JCM. With us this week is Isli
Yo.
and Messiah.
Hello.
And a pretty quiet week. Not too much to go over. I do have the list of some first Wave 1 lineups for Microsoft Game Pass. Really, the only ones to kind of call it here are High on Life 2, Madden NFL 26, and Avatar Frontiers of Pandora are also on Game Pass. I'm curious how many people will hop into Avatar now that it's on there versus just who didn't previously. Because that's a game I want to go back to because it looks really good. It's like a really good looking game on PC, especially. Again, the story's kind of like, yeah, it's okay, but it's just fun to run around that, you know, forests and jungle and shit, or fly around and just look at everything. It's really cool. I like
Mhm.
that world just looks really good. Really great tech. I'm hoping that they you know, use that for some future stuff, maybe like a future Far Cry or what have you. And then, yeah, the some other stuff we had this week was that there was a Nintendo Direct, and it's really funny conspiracy from fans where they showed Resident Evil Requiem at the Nintendo Direct. But people noticed, like, there were a lot of scenes where they clearly cut before, like, they showed Leon kicking zombies, and it's fine. But then there's bits where, like, he's gonna hack them with a chainsaw, or he's gonna hit him with some melee thing that would do damage, and the camera cuts immediately. Then there's some moments where he's shooting at zombies, and he's missing every shot. And it's like, "Oh, I bet Nintendo made them miss so this trailer would be, more PG for the show." And it's like, they're not gonna say that, but with the censorship in Dispatch and now this, I'm like, "Okay, clearly like, when you watch it, it's like, yeah, like, I've seen people miss shots, but no, never like this." It's like, "Okay, this is clearly done on purpose for the sake of this showcase." Like, it
I
was
mean, I would
pretty.
believe it because the rest of the games in the showcase were not Resident Evil-esque. So,
Right.
I mean, you
Yeah.
can't show Resident Evil alongside Monster Hunter stories and be like, "Okay, that was pretty gruesome. Now let's have some fun."
Yeah. It's, it was pretty funny because I was like, "I gotta watch this," and I was like, "Okay, the cutting quickly from the gore, I'm like, I can get that. Okay, you cut that, whatever." But, like,
Mhm.
the gameplay where you purposely, like, there's one where, like, okay, I'm like, "Alright, oh, maybe it says they're just having trouble using the stick," sometimes you see that, but they'll at least hit one shot. But then, like, there's one where they're sniping, and it's like a slow zombie, and they just miss by, like, a mile, and I'm like, "Oh my god." It's so pathetic. Like, come on. But anyway, I thought that was a funny little conspiracy theory that was going around. Uh, the other thing is that apparently Sega's zombie franchise House of the Dead is getting another adaptation, and it's going to be starring Isabella Merced, of course, from Last of Us. She also was in Alien Romulus as well. So that'll be her second gaming adaptation that she'll be in. I mean, I don't know if it'll be any good, but I'm sure she'll probably be good in it, and it'll be like a, you know, okay game, movie. But I don't think they have a director titles because the last one was the Paul W.S. Anderson joint.
I mean, I'm fine with even an okay movie like that as long as it's fun. I would almost
Mhm.
prefer it be shitty but fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. He is producing Anderson, which is interesting. But yeah, I'm trying to see. There's no one else here. So this is a quote from Anderson saying, "The House of the Dead is a game I have loved for many years, and I'm beyond thrilled to be bringing this to the big screen. Such an exciting talent is Isabella at its heart. We envisage this is the start of a tentpole franchise." Okay, you're jumping the shark. A tentpole franchise which can explore the rich world and lore that Sega has created over the whole series of films. Okay, I don't know how you think this is going to be. Okay, so he's at the helm. I guess maybe he is directing the whole thing. Um,
Just embellishing for the sake of embellishment.
yeah, I know, like, this is like, okay, you think it's going to be another Resident Evil film? I mean, Resident Evil, those films are kind of like of their
Oh,
time.
to be fair, it could be another Resident Evil film franchise. It could be like that because those films are fun, but pretty much garbage.
But like that first one was good. Like it wasn't like, obviously it just took bits from the lore and what have you, but
The
like
first one was
it's fun.
entertaining.
Yeah.
It was
Like
fun, but that's what I mean. Like the House of the Dead movies could be fun. They're not going to be good, but they could be really fun.
yeah, I don't, but to say it's gonna be a franchise from the jump, I'm like, I think I don't think folks now are gonna be like clamoring for movies, 'cause I feel like the best adaptations so far have been TV. Like we've talked about that. There hasn't been too many video game, and there have been movies that felt like, oh, this is like a video game movie, like Dread, uh, with Carl Urban. Like that's a video game movie. Mickey 17 feels like a video game movie. But yeah, it's like I don't know how these films are gonna do, but we'll see. We'll see. And speaking of adaptations, apparently Baldur's Gate is getting a series for HBO, which will be a continuation of the Baldur's Gate 3 story. This will be helmed
That
by
will
Craig
be
Mazin.
interesting.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and Larian apparently is not involved, which makes sense because they're not, it's Hasbro, right? So they wouldn't necessarily have them involved. They would have someone else do the thing.
I'll be
And
honest, there's no way this turns out good. This is like
it's
the recent franchise that I'm like, it's not going to translate. Fallout, they did a great job with. Baldur's Gate, I really don't think they're going to do a good job with, because how do you capture like the fun of the game is the choice of being able to do whatever you want to do. So if you're doing it as like a franchise in a TV show, you kind of can only go one of two directions. You either go like satire like the movie and it's like a Marvel movie where they have like a lot of in jokes, or you make it way too real like Game of Thrones. And neither
yeah,
one of those is like the right mood for like a series.
I feel
Hmm.
like if they go the Fallout route of it can't be any of the MCs from the Baldur's Gate 3. It just has to be after the events. Like the Fallout TV show is after the events of the game of through Fallout 4, right? So it's like uh that's why they're like, okay, New Vegas, but they just don't tell you like what were the definitive endings of certain ones of those games. But it's like after timeline wise, it's afterwards. So it's like, okay, if it's a small campaign or story after it's like, oh, people, the world almost got destroyed because of Netherbrain and all this stuff that was going on and yada yada yada. And it's like there were heroes that saved Baldur's Gate. It's like, okay, now it's after the fact. Maybe some smaller, you know, group doing like their own thing. And then you just talk about that's the thing too, is like how much do people know the heroes that, save them? Like, oh, I they do they talk about Gale? Do they talk about Asterion, Carly, all these people? Like, do they talk about them, Will and whatnot, or is it just like they don't know who they are, and maybe they run into them somehow, but it's more like just a again like Fallout, just a separate group of people. It just happens to be after the events of Baldur's Gate 3. I feel like that's the only way it could work. You can't have any of those other characters.
Well, it's
Uh,
also hard because those characters can die. So it's like it makes for a weird like canonization if you mention any of the characters of like, oh, your character died in this. Actually, they were supposed to like survive. Actually, this is the correct route you should have gone. It's just a
Hmm.
weird concept for a show that I struggle to imagine how it will translate. I'm not saying it can't be done. I just have a really hard time imagining how it will translate. I would love
yeah,
for it to do well because I love that lore. But like I had an easier time imagining how Fallout would work than this.
yeah, yeah. It's like you if they only talk, even if they died, just don't say whether they lived or died, but you reference them because they would have existed at some point. Uh, if the stories would have, depending on how far afterwards, like how much their stories carry on, like oh, a group of heroes or something, yada yada. Yada, like I'm curious, like what they could do. Will it be more like the Dungeons and Dragons movie? With Chris Pine, will it be like that? Like who knows? But yeah, I feel like you can't have any of those characters in it, and just do something else in the world or something. I don't know. So we'll see. Like I said, the TV shows seem to be the best adaptation. So I'm not even cautiously optimistic. I'm just like nothing. But
Yeah.
That's
I'm
yes,
yeah
that's how I feel about that.
yeah. They must have thrown a lot of money his way. Hasbro and HBO, I'd imagine. Because
I'm
I don't
not
know
even
how
cautiously optimistic. I'm nothing. Yes, exactly. I am
exactly.
nothing
Yeah,
about that.
like
It's just
I
like
had
it's going to come at some point and you'll hear about it and it'll either be really, really good or everybody will hate it and you'll just be like, yeah, I expected that.
Well, I think about it like when they announced the sequel to The Last of Us, right? I'm like, I never wanted a sequel to this game. Like, I can't imagine what a sequel would be. So I just
Right.
don't know what you can do. And they do it and like, oh, this is really good. So it's like it could be that, like you said, it could be that exact situation. It's like, I don't know what you would do. But you have a track record at least of like 2 seasons of Last of Us that you've done. But those are like direct adaptations of those games.
But I think the
And
Mhm.
you're still
difference with that is you had the original people involved with The Last of Us 2. With this, you don't have Larian involved, so it's kind of like I don't know. You're making a weird. you're making weird assumptions that maybe weren't actually going to be part of the game in your new storyline. And I think that's
Yeah,
really hard.
and they talked about how he wanted to reach out. Sven said, Craig Mason wanted to, come out to the studio and talk to them. So I'm sure it's like it's not necessarily that they're not involved, like because it's not a direct adaptation of three. They're not doing three as the movie. It's just after. So it's like you don't necessarily need them if those characters aren't there. It's like it's just Dungeons and Dragons. So do your own thing. So maybe like, hey, if you consult them, like, oh, if I brought in this character, if we brought in Will, or if we go back to Baldur's Gate and Will's there or something, what do you think would be a good, blah 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 story for this or whatever? It's like I could see that, but yeah, if it's not involving any of those people, like if the Last of Us show like just wasn't about Joel and Ellie, it was just entirely different people in the world, which would be weird, but you know what I mean. But again, it's like kind of like Fallout. Like Fallout's just like a bunch of random, people. Obviously, they are working with the folks there, but there's like a lot of lore they gotta stick to and whatnot. But this is just Dungeons and Dragons, I feel like. So I'm sure it could be a case of like, oh, we don't, maybe the penny pinchers at HBO are like, oh, we just don't want to pay them to bring them on, blah 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 or
Mhm.
something. I don't know, but who knows? It just I don't know if we need another fantasy show. Is the other thing too? Is like, do we need
And my
another
thought
one?
was too, like, the Baldur's Gate games are, I mean, from what I understand, loosely connected. They're not like direct sequels of each other. Some of them take
Hmm.
place like hundreds of years or 100 years after the last one, but they always have some kind of reference to the events of the last game. They either
Right.
reference like the bad guy or there's some kind of like technically canon ending that encompasses like all different types of playthroughs that you can have. There's some kind of canon ending that they all have. So it's like, okay, you have to find whatever the canon ending of 3 is, even if everybody dies and it's just, the player character that ends up being the thing. Like, how far in the future is this going to take place, or is it going to be directly after, so that you have to reference all of these things that happened or could happen in the game, but also for the next game, is the show going to be some kind of canon where they have to reference things in the show and then players of the game are like, what the fuck are you talking about? Who is this person? What is this thing that happened?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I feel like it's in a rough spot, but
Mhm.
who knows? Like it we'll just have to wait and see, I guess. But it just seemed like it was like instead of just doing your own, I don't know, different thing. Like they must have like if he pitched the idea. That's what I'm curious. Like, did he pitch it to HBO? Because he talks about in an interview how he has thousands of hours in Baldur's Gate 3, yada yada yada. But I'm like, okay, but did you come up with this idea? How did you like? You
It's
must
a
have had a
weird
pitch meeting.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. And also like did did he pitch just a generic D&D inspired show and they were like nobody's going to watch this unless there's a familiar name attached to it. And so they're like, okay, I guess we'll make it Baldur's Gate. Or like did he start off with like here is what I wrote as far as like in the Baldur's Gate world? Like did it start out, I think we had this conversation with like something else. Oh, Silent Hill. It's like, did it start out as something else
Mhm.
and now you have to affix it into this familiar IP in order to get views and sales out of it?
Right. Yeah, or like did Hasbro go like, "Hey, we want to expand, Baldur's Gate's really hot." Yeah, yeah, obviously Larian's not going to do a Baldur's Gate 4. They're doing their own thing now. Another studio is going to do the next Baldur's Gate, so they're going to have someone else do it. So there's already pressure on the next video game in general because it's not going to be Larian. And then they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, maybe we could do this in the interim to keep that hype going for Baldur's Gate, and then maybe 4 could potentially be after the events of the show, which would be that very Microsoft way of doing it with like that one that one game they had. That was the TV show game from the guys from
The one game they had that was the TV show game, Quantum
yeah,
Break,
Quantum Break, was that the one? Yeah. Uh,
where they had like the TV tie-in.
yeah. It was
I
like
think
it
that was
no, it
Quantum
like
Break.
Oh,
yeah, Quantum Break. Yeah, that was like where it had, hey, you'd play part of the game. It was Remedy. You play part of the game, and then you'd watch the show, and then you'd play a game, and you'd watch a show. Versus that weird sci-fi MMO that had a TV show that were like the TV show was set in like San Francisco, and the video game was set in like somewhere northwest. and then it was like they'd happen at the same time, whatever, and they were supposed to influence each other, blah blah. Blah. But yeah, so it could be like, is this going to be a gap until the next game? Like I don't know. And did they pitch it to him? Did they go to him like, hey, we like what you did. Here's our pitch. Would you be on board? So I'm like curious, like, yeah, I don't know. Well, it's we're just gonna have to wait and see because I mean, at this point, it's gonna be so far out. You know what I mean? Like that
Hmm.
last of season 3 has to come out first. Then he has to work on this. They got to do casting. They got to write everything. It's like this shit's not going to come out until 2030 or something. Like
If it
it's gonna,
even does ever come out, it
yeah,
may just it may just fall on the floor and be like, it's not turning out the way it should or we want it to, so we're just gonna drop it because it's not gonna be. It's just turning into what we wanted it not to be.
yep, yeah. We'll see. And then moving on, Sony announced that we talked about before. I talk about a lot. Like if I don't buy a game, I have this weird thing where I'm always like, oh, I didn't buy it. I wonder how well it did. Like as if me buying it is a litmus test for performance of a franchise or something. But I haven't gotten Ghost of Yotei yet, and I was really curious like how it has done sales wise. And Sony came out and said like it's outsold its predecessor in the same period, and it's made a significant contribution to its financial results. So it's like it's good to see that Ghost of Yotei is selling really well. Because I feel like aside from the podcasts I listen to where people played it that love it, because I'm not playing it, I feel like I'm not seeing nearly as much of it like I did with Ghost of Tsushima.
Hmm.
Uh,
It's not in
but
your like personal zeitgeist.
yeah, and
Well,
I
we
don't
never
know how.
even really talked about it that much either because it just kind of like happened.
Well,
Hmm.
did you beat it? Play it?
I never beat it.
Okay.
I started it, I really liked it, and then I just didn't finish it and dropped it for something else at the time. And now I'm
Yeah.
like, when you started saying that, I was like, it's going to be Ghost of Yotei, and I was like, I should go back and play that.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm glad it's doing really good. Like that's what I want to see. Like that's a game I really want to play it. We've talked about it a lot. It's just the time for an open world. Like I have too many open world games currently in the pocket. It's like I can't add another one, but I really do want to play Ghost of Yotei. So I'm glad it's performing well. But then the last thing is that Sony announced their co-op Horizon game this week, the Horizon Hunters Gathering, which is kind of like a Horizon Monster Hunter like game that they're doing. Which you figured kind of what it was going to be when they announced they're going to have like a co-op multiplayer Horizon game. But yeah, it's also a different art style. I guess to make it run better for multiplayer instead of being like the higher fidelity that it is in the base games. It's like, okay, we'll kind of make it a little more not like cartoony, a little more animated style, I suppose.
Hmm.
But yeah, there's no word yet if it's gonna be free to play or premium. I have a feeling if it's Sony, it's gonna be a premium title. But yeah, I watched the whole trailer for it. That kind of they're gonna have their little heroes. I guess it's like not a hero shooter, but like a hero hunter. I guess. Uh, I mean,
Or
it
you
looks
play as
interesting.
like the NPCs from the game, or
No, it's like different tribes, right? So it's like, oh, this tribe is very this melee type focused, and this one's very like uh uses more like range, and this one, this one's more sneaky. So it's like I like the idea of like, oh, they're expanding the world, like, okay, this tribe here, they like to fight like this, so that's how they fight. But you're also not from the way they describe it in the trailer. I don't know if you watched like a 10-minute trailer. You're not, pigeonholed into the character you pick to play that class. Like this, like your range class isn't just range. You could also be a healer if you want, so you can be support to your team. So it sounds like there's going to be some sort of perk or ability system to be like, hey, I like this play style, but I want to be the support class, so I can do both. Which I think is a really good idea. So you don't necessarily. It'd probably be a situation where like the guy with the heavy hammer is going to be probably better if you played him as, the tank versus if you played him as a healer just because he's got that melee, but you're not you don't have to. So it's like if you want a little more and depending on how like tolerance they have in gameplay and balance and whatnot, maybe you could be like, okay, yeah, you don't need to min max it because you're not going to do some end game link shell nonsense and be like, no, you have to be this class and do this if you're going to play it. But if you're just with your friends, just do whatever. And if they keep the same exact combat from Horizon, I feel like it could be, a fun time if it versus just being just attack. Like you still got to have that strategy of, hitting them in their certain spots, getting their weaknesses just right, this and that.
I mean,
They
that
said,
is basically Monster Hunter.
yeah,
Like everything has its own particular weakness, and if you hit a specific area, you get a specific part. So it's like the same thing. It fits the like base gameplay style, but having the different tribes and specialties is interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like they could always just add more, and the story is apparently supposed to be canon as well. I mean, it seems like what was the Hades? Is that that's the name of the one system that Lance Reddick's character takes in the lantern
Yeah.
when he leaves? Like it seems like it's either their back or another because like something's corrupting the machines, and like you're going out to kind of help. Like that's the story is like you're trying to stop this corruption from spreading. So Ayla needs help to do that. So you got to go out and what's his face? I forget his name. Is helping recruit these characters. He's like telling the story. I forget that guy's name. He's Aloy's friend. Um, and like he's getting people together to help save other folks, so could be interesting. uh but again, it's going down with multiplayer. It's like, okay, I'm sure even if I had fun, it's like I think you can play solo if I remember correctly. You don't have to play co-op, but it's probably one of those games where it's like co-op. I guess it depends on how they balance it, right? Maybe they can, if they can have some AI companions or something. But it's like if I don't have people to play with, it's like, will I really play this game is the
You'll
question.
have villain hunters the same way Monster Hunter does. It's like these NPCs that are part of the story just kind of
Hmm.
come and help you with the hunts. uh,
Yeah.
More than likely.
Which hopefully, yeah, it is the case and works. Because yeah, like I played one of the co-op or one of the bonus missions in Space Marine 2 the other day, and I finally figured out a way to queue without connecting online. It's like, yeah, they just give you the bots to play the other two guys in the squad. So you can, solo play it. So hopefully they do something like that if you want, It's like I feel like that could be a good way to go. But yeah, I'll be curious to see how I know they're supposed to have like a beta eventually for it. Closed beta probably. But it's a good thing they finally announced it because it's been in the works for a bit. But now they get to be curious too because they also have the other one that's coming out that was made by was it is Tencent making the other one or NetEase or whatever we watched a while back where it's like it just looks very. It
I
didn't look
yeah,
like.
I think it was Tencent, but it definitely like made me laugh that the spoof beat them to the game concept.
Well, no, no, I'm not even talking about the spoof one, the Light of Mortrium or whatever, the one they sued over. But there is one that's actually like uh it's a Korean developer making a Horizon game, but all the characters are way more like that Korean hot style character design, but the combat kind of just looks hack and slash basic and not that Horizon, take off the armor here, get to the weak point, take off, the weapon, do this. More I guess Monster Hunter, like, it just looked kinda more generic fighting. I forget what that one's called. Let's see. I think that's a mobile game, maybe. Korean Horizon Zero Dawn multiplayer.
Was it actually like Horizon based or was it just similar looking?
It's the Horizon Steel Frontiers. It's an MMORPG for mobile and PC, that was coming out. It was announced, Q4 of last year.
Yeah.
It's being developed by South Korean studio, it's NCSoft. But again, if you watch that
Oh god.
trailer, like it's they're very like, okay, the character designs are more that Korean, again, thin face, hot design kind of thing. But the combat wise, like I said, that's what I was watching. It's like I don't know, it didn't look quite like Horizon. I'm like watching the trailer again, uh, in the background. Like, it looks way more like the Horizon engine, not cartoony style. So it does have that going. But yeah, I'm curious, like it's interesting that they'll have and this one's the MMO RPG and they're gonna have well, it's also mobile as well. So I don't know. I mean, maybe it could be good, but it just the combat just it looks like I'm watching them fight one of those bears, and all they're doing is hacking and slashing. Like it's just a health bar above it. They're not going for like, oh, shoot the cannon, take off the arm. They're not doing that tactical stuff. So it's interesting that they'll have these two different styles of multiplayer
I
Horizon
mean,
games.
NCSoft isn't exactly known for like in-depth gameplay, or at least none of the NCSoft games I've ever played are like
Yeah,
in-depth type of like strategy games. It is kind of just like hack and slash theme park MMO kind of vibe.
yeah, which could be fun because like they have like a counter mechanic. It looks like in some of them, and like who knows, depending on how many people are in the world, like and they have the tall neck so you can climb and whatnot, and you have like the Zelda Breath of the Wild stamina circle, so you can only climb up so much. You can't just climb indefinitely. and they have like a grappling hook mechanic, which was really fun. But like again, watching the combat, it's just hack and slash, and like it's interesting because they show like the armor breaking, but they don't. I don't know. It feels more. I guess more Dark Souls, you should say, just fighting that kind of way because there's like a stamina bar and whatnot. But it doesn't seem like there's more tactical stuff. But we'll see. It could
I
be like I said,
either I either completely missed that or I just kind of like wrote it off as a whatever thing. Like I didn't actually think it was Horizon. I thought it was like knockoff Horizon.
yeah. I
So
put
I
it in
might have to
chat.
actually look at it. Yeah, I
Um,
see.
yeah.
I have to look at it.
And like I said, it could be good. The mobile bit makes me wonder how much it's going to scale to, but it's only on PC and mobile, so it's not it's not coming to consoles. So I'm
Hmm.
curious how it's going to be, how that's going to do. But yeah, so and obviously they probably don't want it to come to consoles because they're doing their own multiplayer thing. So having two different multiplayer things will be interesting. And maybe it'll be if it's on PC and it's free to play, maybe I'll give it a shot and just see how it feels or something.
Hopefully it's
But
not just like a microtransaction nightmare.
yeah, right. But yeah, that was pretty much it for the news. Like I said, not a whole lot this week. Again, we're still kind of in that quiet time. Just the two game adaptation announcements. Well, you guys are kind of big. And then the sales figures, and then the announcement from Sony. It was interesting that it was just like they just dropped like a 10-minute trailer. They didn't even have it as part of a. I mean, I guess I know why you don't do it like a state of play or whatever for it because it's a multiplayer game and you probably get a lot of gunk from the fans who don't like multiplayer.
I was gonna say there would be so much pushback if that was a state of play.
Yeah. Like, why did you show this? But
For
that's
Hmm.
better or
why
worse, people would be like, "This is a bullshit state of play."
we hate multiplayer. But we
Well, I
love
think it's.
battle royales and all the friend quote unquote
I don't.
friend slap games.
I don't think it's
Yeah.
the multiplayer though. I think it's the concept of a sequel that's not a sequel to what you were hoping for. Like it's. I don't think it's just multiplayer.
It's the Ryan Johnson make them think something they hate is going to take away something they love. Like the
Yes, it's that.
it's oh because you're doing this, we're not getting a sequel to a single player sequel like we want, which isn't the case. Like,
Correct.
yeah, it's if we have this, then we don't have that. Or like even back in the day, it's like, oh, this game has a quote unquote tacked on multiplayer. That means the single player isn't going to be nearly as good because they had part of their development as if it's like brain power. It's like, oh, if they do a multiplayer, well then only 60% of the single player can be good because that's how game development works.
But I do think that's what it is. If like they get worried about losing the one thing they like, and then it becomes something else.
Yeah, yeah, but
Which is historically literally not how any of that works, but nobody processes that as like,
yeah,
how the world works or how reality is, and it just continues.
yeah. Negative reactions just sell more than positive reactions. So even if people were hopeful, no one would give a shit. But yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes. Like I said, if it is a paid game, it's like I probably just won't play it because I don't have anybody to play with, and I don't like. I was talking about again with someone the other day. And I think I talked about this on the podcast, but like I want to check out High Guard just so I can get my own opinion of it, and because it's made by some ex Apex people, and I like Apex, so it's like okay, the gunplay and everything should be really fun, and I also want to get my own thoughts on it, and not just parrot what other people are saying. But even if I like it, I'm not gonna solo queue and play with randos. It's like that's the bit. Like that's the reason I don't go back to Apex, even though historically solo queue on an Apex is really easy because of the ping system. It's like I just don't go back and play that because of that reason. It's like I want to play like Battlefield's the only game I can play because it's such a bigger scale and it's more like okay, how can I contribute to my entire team by being a support class? It's like then that's so much easier, and we all know what we're doing. Well, not all of us know what we're doing, but it's like it's so much easier to be a nameless soldier in that game versus like a game where it's like it's me and two others. It's like okay, my contribution now is significantly a much higher percentage, and whatnot. It's like I play Battlefield and get number one, number two on our team just by supporting folks. It's like win or lose. It's like at least I'm assisting. But yeah,
Yeah,
once
it's
you
more like having to coordinate with the team to work together rather than just like playing your role
yeah.
correctly.
And the worst part is like the longer I wait to try High Guard, the more the people who are playing are gonna have better map awareness and strats and whatnot. I'm gonna be like, I'm not gonna know anything. It's just okay. Well, now I missed the point. Like there's this there's this point of time in a multiplayer's life cycle where if you're not on board until they have a casual mode, it's like you can't do it. Uh,
Yeah.
you're not gonna have a good time. But again, yeah, that's pretty much it for the news. Not much else. Go ahead and jump over to what we've been playing. Going to start with you, Isli. What have you said you picked up Cairn? So how much of Cairn have you been playing?
I've been playing it a lot. I have no concept for how far I am in the game, though. I- I'm trying to think of even how to discuss the game. So yeah, I've played like 5-ish hours of it. I don't know if that's far or not. The point of the game is, you're trying to summit a mountain. So visually, it seems like I have a long way to go for summiting the mountain. Though with the story of the game, I could see my understanding of like what the game actually is about to be totally different. I feel like so first of all, I've really been enjoying it. I was hesitant that the gameplay was just going to be like control one limb, and that it wouldn't like have much more to it. But that style of traversal actually works really well in a game like this, and it's actually really fun. It's surprisingly engaging. And then I feel like the part that they undersold in the marketing, or maybe I just missed it, is it's much less about the gameplay of summiting the mountain and much more of like you can explore the entire mountain and there are actually things to find on the mountain. So it's much more
Mm-hmm.
like survival exploration than any of the trailers or reviews I read let on. Um, so it's less like, oh, the game is challenging because you control one limb like baby steps, and it's much more like, oh, there's a interesting cave that I can see off in like this tiny little nook of the mountain there, and now I need to figure out how to get there to see like what's inside the cave. And the exploration aspect I think has been really engaging, and it's also the part that was just like absolutely undersold. Like, I don't think this is a spoiler because it like happens very early on, but there's like a old cave society called like the Troglodytes who lived in the
Mm-hmm.
cave you're climbing, and they're like they paint weird things in neon paint, and they have like schools and classes in the side of the mountain. So like you come across some of their like archives and rooms and villages, and even when you start the game, it talks about how like the mountain and the cable cars shut down because they disappeared. So right now there's like this mystery of what happened to them. And there's a lot of like little stories like that that I feel like nobody ever talks about or touches on, but it's way more engaging than the what I thought originally the game was about, which was just, try to summit the mountain.
Yeah, I think that I didn't mention it before either because I was like I didn't want to. I found out about it. I was like, oh, I kind of wish I didn't know that when. And most people when they were talking about the game, when it were trying not to talk about it because it's like it's more fun to kind of discover that and be like, oh, there's more to this than
Yeah.
initially presented, which I
And
think is a good
there's
thing.
a lot to discover still. It's just like I feel like it undersells the game to just say it's about climbing then, and it's not going to draw people in. And that's where it's a little bit of the, it's not just a climbing game, which I think is why people love it. And I wish that that was more clearly explained to me because it's not really even that visible in the demo. But I do think that that is thinking of it more as an exploration game and less as a climbing simulator,
Yeah.
is maybe like how it should have been marketed because it's got very good climbing mechanics and they are very fun climbing mechanics. So I see why people call it a climbing simulator, but that's definitely not like the heart of the game.
Hmm. Yeah.
Hmm.
But I've really been enjoying it. The story is interesting. The little mysteries that aren't the story but that like exist in the game are also very interesting. I'm, a few hours in and I find it pretty not challenge. It's like the perfect level of like you'll fail at some of the hard areas 2 or 3 times, and then you need to like pause and take a breather, and then you can kind of do it on like the fourth try. Like the really hard areas, I don't usually succeed the very first time around, but when I go back to play it or like take a little breather or something or pause, it's just kind of the perfect level of difficulty. So yeah, only really positive things to say about it. Very much enjoying it.
Yeah. Yeah, I look forward to playing. It's been a busy week. Stuff going on. I didn't have time to pick it up. When I get to my section, I haven't been playing too much. So yeah, just a lot of stuff happening. Yeah, because how much is Cairn? I think I do. I have it on my wish list.
It's like 30-ish bucks, somewhere around there.
Yeah, it's on sale, 10% off on Steam. So yeah, 26.99. Yeah, I had a lot of stuff going on this week. It's like okay, a deluxe upgrade pack. Interesting. Yeah, it's like I just can't buy this yet. And also, even if I did, I didn't have any time to play it yet. Yeah, I do look forward to playing it. But yeah, it's good to hear that you're having a good time with it and you're liking all the additional content.
Yeah, and then the climbing itself is a little bit of like kind of puzzle experience of how you get from point A to point B. And I
Mm.
think that's even a better way to look at it than like climbing simulator
Right.
because it's trying to figure out like how to actually traverse it. And the controlling of the limbs is I mean, it's easy to control the limbs, so it's not really like it's like, oh, I have to perfectly grip this or figure that out. But it's more of like a puzzle of like, where do I place this limb or this limb or this limb in order to get from point A to point B? And I feel
Right.
like that also wasn't really clear from like some of the reviews I read, that it's not just mostly like the main focus is not trying to suffer through climbing simulation in a same way of like baby steps or a game like that.
Mhm. Are you playing with the automated limb, or are you doing the mode where you pick which limb you want?
I'm doing default, which is the automated limb, but you
Mhm.
can pick which limb you want still, even in that mode, by holding
Oh,
a
okay,
button. So it automates by default, and then you can kind of control back and forth what you want to do.
that's cool. Yeah, I look forward to giving it a shot because
Hmm.
you'll probably finish it by the time we record next. So it'll be interesting to get your final thoughts on it.
God, I don't know. I have no concept of how long this game actually is.
I've heard, so I won't say anything. That way, I don't like spoil like oh, you're this percentage like. But I have heard people talk about how long it's taken them to beat it. But I don't know if they also are good at the game or bad at the game, so that can
Right.
always judge like, oh, or did they explore everything? You know what I mean? Like, but I know how long they said they took it, so I can infer like, okay, plus minus. But yeah, because I've seen some games where it's like, oh, I'll play how long to beat? It's like this long, and then I see how long it be. It's like, oh, I guess I took my time a little too much exploring and yada yada, doing grinding maybe, but not that
Like with
it's
this
kind of like
game, there's definitely a lot of routes where like I'll spend, half an hour climbing up one particular route to get to a cliff, and then I'll get to the top and I'll realize, oh, there's like three things down below that I didn't get, and then I have to like rappel down to explore them. So it's really hard to know because I feel like I don't make progress the fastest. But I also don't know if that's the usual experience that most people are having while playing the game, or if most
mhm,
people are really just trying to get to the top.
yeah, for sure. What about you, Zai? What have you been playing?
I have, well, what did I play this week? I didn't really play much like after work this week, but I've pretty much just been playing Chaos Rings 3 and
Hmm.
Final Fantasy 14. Uh, no, yep, that's about all I've been doing. Because now I was complaining about it in the Discord where the Relic grind was like, hey, go
Yeah.
find me 100 of this thing. And I was like, okay,
Hmm.
here's 100 of the thing. And he's like, oh no, that wasn't enough thing. We have to do it again. Go get me 300 of the thing. Like, okay, I'll go get you 300 of the thing. And then I took him 300 of the thing, and he goes, okay, one last time. Now get me 600. I was like, I'm gonna log off, actually.
It was it
I'm gonna
one
play
of those
that.
things where you when you collect 100, does it cap you? Like you can't collect more? Like if you had known ahead of time, could you have collected 600 of the thing, or does it stop
No,
you?
you can collect more than, because I think I had like, just based on how many, because you get a different amount for like everything that you do.
Hmm.
There's like roulettes, and then there's the occult crescent like side area that they have for this expansion.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a different. I think I had like at the first stage I had like 105 or something like that, and I was like, okay, I guess I'm gonna have to, because the previous stages were like you do the farming where you're like powering up this thing that you carry with you, and then you turn that in, and it's like, cool, here's your relic that you worked for in this stage or whatever, and then you get that. And then if you want other relic weapons, you just collect tomestones and you turn it in for like the item that you used originally to
Okay.
make the thing. So it's like you skip that farming phase, and now you just use tomestones to buy your weapon, which is what they did in Endwalker as well. And it works pretty well because now it's not a pain in the ass to make multiple
Hmm.
relic weapons if you want to. Um, so I thought that was going to be the case now with like this thing. I was like, okay, well, they're going to use this item or this new like particular thing to be a replacement for the tombstone. Like you're going to have to buy it with this thing now instead of the tombstone. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult to finish the relic, not like finish it, but get to this stage.
Yeah.
Um, and that was not the case. I should have known better. It was going to be tombstones, and I don't know. I was just like not not as willing to kind of grind it out as I was the previous stage, because
Hmm.
I was like, okay, well, I only need 300 of them, and I know I can get 20 for every time I do this particular thing, so that's only like 15 things I have to do, so I'll just go ahead and like suffer my way through that and it'll be fine. It was not fine, you know. What can you do?
Yeah.
So I've just been doing that pretty much, just kind of grinding away at it and then trying to finish Chaos Rings 3, which is nice because it's finally at a point where I'm like, okay, this is interesting. I got past the stupid opening, like, "Hey, congratulations, kid, you're now like an official hunter thing. Go out and do some hunter things." And you do
You
some
were
hunter
only in the
things, and you do
opening
some
still?
No, apparently
How
it's
long
broken
is
up
that
into, like,
game?
chapters. They're pretty long. The very first one yeah, the very first one, because you kinda play through the multiple scenarios in order to get, like, the final good ending. I probably put in 100, maybe more
Wow.
than hours in that. Yeah, they're pretty long games. They're, like, full-on RPGs.
Yeah, I thought
And
these were like 30-hour games you were playing. I didn't realize you were playing like that long of a game. Wow.
yeah, the first one especially because it was, like, the first scenario, obviously, you kinda take your time going through it, and then when you get to the next scenarios, you're like, "Okay, I kinda understand what the rhythm is, so I can go through the areas a lot quicker, and, I can level up a lot faster," so the subsequent scenarios are a little bit faster, but the second one was, like, you have pretty much a direct path, and you don't really have to replay all of these alternate scenarios and stuff like that. I mean, I guess you can because it does have a scenario tree where it depends on, like, the whole point of that game is you have these characters and you have to sacrifice them to get to the full ending of the game, where you attack and dethrone God, but you can choose what characters to sacrifice in what order. So there's branching paths with that, but other than that, it's pretty much just a linear path to the end, which is basically what I did because I was like, it doesn't really change the way the main story plays out. It just changes the way that you traverse some of the areas because each character has their own, I don't know, I guess special technique that they use to get through certain areas and to get to certain side treasures or side quests and stuff like that. So it's like it's if it's not actually like building and adding to the lore like the first game was, I don't feel like going back and doing that. So I kind of just played through that. So that was a lot faster. But this one, I haven't checked the playtime on it, but yeah, I have quite a few hours into it, and I just got to the end of like I guess the first chapter because I guess when it originally came out, it was it was a live service kind of like mobile game. So it was like they released chapters slowly, but now it's all kind of one set cohesive game. So I'm technically in the second chapter now where it's like, okay, they're introducing the actual overarching story to it. So it's not just like, hey, I'm a bunch of little kids and we're doing hunter things and oh no, we have to I don't know. It's just the beginning was very boring compared to the other games. So it's like,
Hmm.
all right, I don't know. I hope this picks up soon, and it did pick up. So I'm actually having a lot of fun with that.
Good.
But other than that, I haven't really been playing anything much or new or anything like that.
Yeah. Well, at least that game's, having a good time with that one. It seems like the
Hmm.
whoop, sorry.
I feel like one of you either needs to get Cairn or needs to get Neo 3 so that we can
It's
play the same
fine.
game at the same time.
I'm not getting.
I know
I
you
didn't
won't
play
get
the
Neo.
other Neos, so I'm not getting Neo 3.
Well, then you should get Cairn. It's pretty
I'll
interesting.
get Cairn. Maybe as soon as I have time to get it. Maybe this week I'll pick it up. I spent a lot of money on some stuff. Can't
Was it
spend money on
Warhammer
something I'm not gonna play
Minis?
it. No, it's like emergency car stuff and birthdays and blah blah blah.
It's the
So
worst.
yeah,
Yucky.
and like I said, even if I bought it, I wouldn't have had time to play it. So, because yeah,
And
myself,
I do unfortunately have Final Fantasy 14 brainworms right now, so I will not be picking up anything new for a while probably.
yeah, I haven't been playing too much. I haven't gone back to finish off. I was hoping I'd finish off Tomb Raider this week. Then yeah, just too much stuff going on. I just haven't been in the mood to go back to it. Been playing a lot of Balatro on my phone because I've just been like in situations where it's like, okay, well, I not in my office at my desk, yada yada. So I'll be on my phone just trying to beat fucking Gold Stake on my phone with the Ghost deck. Pissed me off. It's like I get so close. I need to learn to just scrap runs sooner. And I always hate when I get a run where it's like, oh, I have a really nice Joker that I want to set me up for some early game success. And then it's like I fuck up or I don't get a good hands for the third ante where it's like, just 600 points. And it's like, damn it, I don't get it. Like I'm trying to go for I usually always just go for a straight or flush. Usually flushes are easier for those first three hands. And it's like I'm just trying to go for a flush. Like I guess I just went for the wrong flush. I shouldn't have gone clubs. I should have gone. I didn't know I should have gone diamonds. I only had one diamond in the opening hand, so I scrapped it. It's like, well, oh well. And it's like I hate those hands. And I hate like anytime I get baited into free rare Joker in the next shop, and I do that shit, and it's always like a timed rental Joker. I'm like, fuck you, man. I fucking hate you. It's like I hate that shit. It's so annoying. But yeah, it's like I get some really close games, and it's always like, oh, the extra large blind or one Joker. Like I said, like one Joker randomly disabled. I'm like, fuck, it screws up my whole thing. Play only one hand type, and then I don't get it after the first one. Whatever. It's just like, come on, man. So that's always rough. Just still trying to be gold stake on my phone. But I did play some more. Actually, yesterday I played some. I went back to play Borderlands 4. I was like, you know what? Let's play some Borderlands. Go on there and play. And I hadn't played in a while, and I was just playing solo. I wasn't even playing with my cousin because I'd only played the game with my cousin. And I think like it was fun going back to it because I was like, okay, one, I got to try to remember. Okay, how did I build my character? What are my guns? Okay, these are my guns. But like I'm on playing on hard. We were playing on hard. And we were playing co-op. But I think because that co-op scaling of where like enemies are a little more spongy, like your build, if you're not like super OP building in multiplayer, you might not feel quite as strong sometimes. But like in single player, like I felt like, oh, my build and my guns felt great. Like I was just owning guys. There's this one legendary shotgun that you can get early on from like a boss that's like really fun. It's the Jacobs shotgun. It's like it's only one shot, but it just has it's just really good, and I love using it. So I've been having a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun playing that for a little bit yesterday, just doing some side stuff, running around. And there's all the extra content they've added since then. And there's like this Christmas event that happened, so like I got that quest and yada yada. So, but yeah, play through some of that. Single players having a lot of fun. So I'm like, yeah, I probably could see going back and playing some more of it. And then I was playing a lot of Auction Not Included the other week and this week, and I was having this bug where like every time I would load in, the camera kept drifting like to the top left, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck, and I couldn't get it back. So it's like I don't know what happened. I couldn't fix it. I uninstalled the game, I reinstalled the game, I checked all my mods for updates, make sure nothing's going on. But like even when I launched the game, like when I try to like if I pause the menu and I try to click on something, like it's like if you I don't know if you've ever had this problem like Windows before, where like if you have a game where like the game is scaled at a resolution that isn't the display, but it's still at full screen. So it's like when you put your mouse over like quit, it doesn't highlight the quit in the UI. But if you move it like to the left and up, it's like, okay, now you're technically where it is. Like this weird shift of the UI and in where you can interact with it. And I kept having that problem. Like I couldn't quite do stuff. And I tried looking it up, like, camera keeps drifting, blah, blah, blah. Couldn't figure out the problem. And then I found one random Reddit post that had like 2 comments, and someone said like, "Oh, do you have a controller plugged in?" Blah blah. Like the game does not support controller, but I had a controller that's usually always plugged into my PC in case I want to use it for a controller game, and it just happened to have like flipped upside down, and the stick was tilted just enough to cause the camera to move. I was like, if you don't have controller support, why are you allowing it to do this in my game? You know
That
what I
is
mean? Like,
infuriating.
yeah, I'm like, you do not have controller support. Why are you doing this? But like, luckily, it was just again, Reddit coming in clutch or just some random fucking post of someone being like, oh, yeah, it's probably this. And it's like, and because it wasn't like every other one was like, it was always related to my cursor doing this. Like, it was another problem that just had similar, ways to do it to cause the issue. And it's like, this is the only post where it was like, yep, this is the exact issue I'm having is this
Mhm.
stupid controller thing. So I'm glad I solved that and I was able to get back in. But like I totally like scrapped the run through I had because I'm like, okay, I maybe it's bugged, something's wrong. So I got rid of it and just started a new run and blah blah blah. But I was like, oh, just it was so annoying. It's like, come on, man. But yeah, not too much else besides those. Just Borderlands 4 and playing some Balatro. Want to do want to play Cairn. I want to get back. I need to get. I want to play Baby Steps, so I want to stream to play it. I think what I got to do is just like pick like, guys. It's been like I was sick the week prior, and then it's just like a lot of stuff going on this week and everything. It's like okay, it's much easier to like catch up on shows and just build Warhammer or do whatever at the same time versus not doing that. And Fallout just finished, so now I don't have any TV right now, so it'd be a
I
good time to.
forgot I need to watch the ending to Fallout.
I'm surprised you didn't do it like right when it came out. But I'm usually like that night, like, oh, let's watch it and build some Warhammer or something.
No,
Um,
I've been bad about watching Fallout the nights they come out. I don't remember why. I think I just like consistently seem to forget when they actually come out.
yeah, yeah. Girlfriend's always like, let's watch, and you're like 2 minutes. Hold on, I gotta get ready. I gotta get pants on so I can watch Fallout.
It's true.
No, but yeah. So I gotta like just do a schedule where it's like, okay, just Tuesday and Thursday, just start slow. Be like, okay, let's just consistently do these 2 days, and then slowly go back. Versus like before, where I was just doing it every night, and whatnot, and maybe just do that. But yeah, because I do want to play that. I gotta finish Tomb Raider. I want to finish that as well. So got a lot I can play. Just I didn't play a ton of it this week. Yeah, I don't think I have any other notes. The only one I had was that actually, man, fucking. So my oldest had a bunch of friends over for a sleepover for his birthday party, whatever, blah blah, and they wanted to play Minecraft. So I had like two of them on the Switch in the living room. They could play split screen there, but then I was like, all right, well, if you want, you can play on my PS5 and play 3 player, and you guys can play online. But then it's like, of course, fucking Microsoft and their bullshit. Like I have like, okay, let's go online. Okay, scan the code, blah blah blah. So I scan it. I gotta sign back in because I haven't done it in a while, I guess. And like, okay, I do that on my phone, get that done. It's okay. You're signed in as JCM. Okay, good. And I go back to the other one. It's like, okay, sign in. It's like, oh, it's like by default, if I scan it, it's gonna go to my thing and not my kid's account that I had to set up for him because you can't be signed into both, on two different devices when you're playing Minecraft.
Mhm.
So it's just like I'm like, okay, you guys, you can't play online together. You gotta you two played your instance. You three is like if I because I asked, I was like, how many of your friends are gonna bring? Do they have Switches? Do they have iPads? Are you guys gonna bring over and play Minecraft? Because I need to know so I can do stuff like update things if we're gonna play on the consoles. Why not make sure I get everything's all sorted out? And he said, "Oh no, we're fine." Blah blah. So it's like it was just this annoying. Like, okay, I got you this far. I have the controllers for everything. Blah blah blah. Just do it like this. I can't deal with Microsoft's bullshit. It's like it's so fucking annoying. I hate it, man. It's so dumb. Why do you need to sign in with your Microsoft account to
I've done the
play
best I
Minecraft online?
could. You guys are on your own now.
I've
Fucking
done everything I
Microsoft
could.
is
You figure it out.
it's so dumb, man. Like just use the Nintendo account. Like
It's
why
also
do I
pretty bad if you can't figure it out because like you're actually computer literate and game literate. So
it,
man, imagine the parents that, don't play games
it
themselves.
it's not even that I can't figure it out. Like I know what they need to do. It's just why do you need a Microsoft account to play online with people? Like you just use the platform you're on. If you're on PC, sure, whatever. But it's like on console, just use your PSN. Just use the Nintendo online account. Why do I have to link it? And it's like it never links quite right when you first boot up and you always have to like sign it. And the problem is like because I have two accounts, my account and then his account, which is a kid account under my account. I can't use my phone to scan both QR codes because the default says my account. It goes, oh, you're trying to sign in as JCM. It's like, no, no, no. I want to sign in as my kid. So in order to do that, I have to go to the dumb website, do it that way. Then I have to know, okay, what password did I set up for him? Blah, blah, blah. And it's so annoying. Like the hoops they make you jump through just to do it. It's like if it was one and done, just fire and forget, it'd be great. But it's like every time you load it up, it's always like, oh, has it been more than 2 days? Oh, you got to sign back into your account. It's like,
It is needlessly complicated for no reason whatsoever, other than that they were just like, oh, we bought this thing, so no, you have to use our platform rather than just like buying the thing and making it as easy as possible for people to play the thing that you bought. No, it has to be within our ecosystem for no reason.
yeah.
It was
Like
just
if
fine the way it was before. Just leave it.
like if you want to do that for as a sort of gateway to being able to buy stuff, in game, okay, that's fine. Like some weird parental control, I'm like whatever, do that. But just to play multiplayer, man, piss me the fuck off. It's so annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so they were fine. But then it's like, they play for a bit and then they stop and they never commit really for like a long amount of time and
It takes you
blah blah blah.
45 minutes to get everybody signed in and playing, and they play for 15 minutes and they're like, we're bored. There's nothing to
It's
do.
funny when they were like, luckily, like Mario Party, you can play with just one Joy-Con. So it's like, okay, we had four Joy-Cons. Uh, so I took the ones off my Switch and paired them with his. So I was like, okay, you guys can play 4 player, but they had 5 people, so just like rotate controllers, and then just watch them like, people who never played Mario Party before, and they're just doing the mini games only. But at least
Mhm.
that like worked much easier than Minecraft. But anyway, the one thing that it does annoy me a bit on the PlayStation side is that when so if you want to do split screen, you got to, turn on a controller and it tells you, okay, when you turn on a controller, it asks you what profile on the console do you want to pair it to? It's like, oh, maybe your one controller is running out of battery, so you want to turn it off. And instead of turning it off and then turning on another one, you just turn on the second one. Because do you want to use the same profile for this one? Because now this will be the new one. It's like, no, you got to pick another one. Or you do guest, but like guest isn't immediately one of the main options. You have to go like plus and then choose guest. And like that's really annoying. Like I wish it was a little more faster to do it, but it's like I guess they do it for achievement purposes. Like, oh, because I have like extra profiles on my PlayStation. It's like, okay, well, these guys can get, progress or whatever, and then it'll save to their thing, yada yada. But it's just like, okay, can you just make it a little quicker? Like just say no right there in the front or something.
Mhm.
But yeah, the Microsoft one is just so fucking annoying. I hate it, man. Yeah. Other than that, not a lot. All right. Well, I guess we can go ahead and wrap it up there. Hopefully, like I said, maybe I'll pick up Cairn this week, play some of it. Maybe if that's short, I'll have to look see if that one's shorter than Baby Steps. Maybe I'll play that one first actually, and then do Baby Steps. Go back.
I feel like Cairn, I don't know if this is actually true, but my suspicion is that Cairn is longer, but you will beat it faster. Like more content in Cairn than Baby Steps, but Baby Steps more frustrating would be my guess. Therefore, you'll play it longer.
Maybe, yeah, because like if you slip, you can spend more time, re-climbing up stuff and whatnot, yada yada. Yeah, we'll see. All right, well, we'll go ahead and wrap it up there. So thank you for tuning in. Listen, thank you, Isli, thank you, Zai, for joining.
Yep.
Mhm.
And we'll see you all next time.
Later.
Bye.